Hi and welcome to Body Movement Mastery. My name is David and I'm going to teach you how to dance like a Cuban in 4 hours or less. Now thank you for signing up for Body Movement Mastery. If you still feel slightly uncomfortable with solo steps, with styling, with walking the basic step by yourself, let's say on the side of the dance floor while you're waiting for people to come to the social dancing party, or waiting for a partner, then I recommend you to go back to the Solo Styling Foundations course that's available on this platform as well. This will teach you to dance with more variation and more, simply moves, steps for the time that you're not holding anybody, yeah? Body movement mastery is about getting full control over the different body parts, hence body movement, but in a way that is sensical and necessary for dancing salsa. So what we learn in this course is shoulder movement, hip movement, chest movement, the whole package, all these things you need in order to move in a bit of like a reggaetonish fashion. If you think about Afro-Cuban dances, these movements, you learn lots of these things now in this class. And when I started dancing, I was really frustrated with the offer or the information that was out there on, for example, how to shimmy, how to move your shoulders. It was very difficult to find. I really remember not finding anything, and I think in the age of the internet this shouldn't be a problem. So in this program I'll take you all the way from upper body shoulders into your chest, learning the hip movement, and down into your legs, at least a little bit. Body movement is your essentials, okay? When you look at a person who dances really well, if you see them, it's mostly Cuban people because they just grew up with it. The difference oftentimes isn't necessarily the moves they do. You know, if you're a leader, then the difference isn't that these Cuban guys, sometimes they do, but often they don't know more spins for the lady, and if you're a follower, it's the same thing. The Cuban girls don't follow more turns than you do. Rather what it is that they have more body control over the different parts of their body, and it makes it easier for them to respond to the music, to interact with the music, to play with the music, to move their bodies actually to the music. And okay, one of the most important elements in Cuban salsa is actually the musicality part. And musicality, this will actually be a topic for a whole different course, but just to talk about it for a little bit, it's you actually, you know, let's say you dance hip-hop. Maybe you haven't been dancing anything else before Latin dance, maybe you have. Just to give you a hint, if you learn hip-hop, if you have like dance classes in street styles and so forth, people usually dance to a song, they learn a choreo to a specific song, and they don't just learn steps and then they try them on different songs. Yeah, this is what we often do, or what teachers, I would say, like mediocre teachers usually teach their students. They teach them styling, like a consecutive sequence of steps, but they don't actually fit the song they're dancing to. They could be used in any song, and that's also nice, but generally, obviously, you want to move with the music, and that's what street style hip hop people do. Actually, most dances do that. And yes, in a way, you're still moving to the music, even if you do the steps that fit several songs, but at the same time, there's something specific about musicality which we need to learn if you really want to look good while we dance, okay? And we'll talk about this more in a different course, but for now I'd like you to keep in mind that all the movements we do right now, in the end you want to be able to do them in the right moment in the music. Yes, maybe we'll get into that a little bit, and at least yeah, with some of the elements we're gonna learn now. But first, before we can do it, before we can put it together, the music with the body movement, the musicality, we need to have the body movement, and then also at the same time we need the understanding of the music, and then we can put it together. It doesn't just magically occur out of nothing. However, learning the movements in your body can help you also discover and understand the musicality of Cuban salsa much better. What that means is that, and I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but if you are familiar with the body movements, you'll realize that they really fit, the way the Cubans do them, they really fit in these moments of the music. Like, the music is basically, and this is just my theory, but I think that's what happened, over time, the music that has been played has a certain effect on different body parts. Some of them make you want to move your shoulders. Some of the parts of the song make you want to move your hips. And knowing when to do what is really what Cuban salsa is all about. And you're lucky because that's what you're going to learn. Now, just to pre-warn you, in this course there will be quite a bit of talking because you need explanations, It doesn't help to look at videos of very great dancers online and look at their shoulders and so forth. That's not how you learn how to do it, or at least that's not how it works for most people. So what I usually teach my students, and by the way, what I'm teaching you now is like a kind of like a proven, already tried out method, the way I teach my students in real life, in person, to get your body movement to a new level. Yes? And there will be quite a bit of talking because I'm going to try to explain to you the techniques or the feeling or what is happening in your body while I'm showing you movement, because that is, so to speak, the thing that you can get with me that maybe it's more difficult to find on the internet if you just watch some of the more advanced Cuban dancers. They look great, but they don't give you all the details you would need as a stiff European, as I like to call myself and others, for fun. But obviously we'll cease to be stiff Europeans by the end of this program, because this is body movement mastery. Now, our first body part will be the shoulders. Yes? This is the first body part we will be working with. But before we do anything, and I would like you to do that at home actually as well, we need to warm up our necks. Yes? So, circles is what you want to start with if you warm up your neck. Now, why are you doing that? Why are you warming up your neck? We're not finished, by the way. But why are you warming up your neck? The neck is connected with the shoulders here. It's connected with your jaw in terms of muscle tension. Perhaps, like the cumulative, if that's a word, the accumulated tension that can come in one place, it can go all the way into another. This is why we warm up the neck. The body movements we'll do, they are based on technique and knowledge and understanding and skill, but also on relaxation. First of all, you can't do body movement for a long time if you're really tense. Second of all, it shows. Yeah, this is also one of the core differences between European dancers and Cuban dancers. They're relaxed while they dance. We are usually counting in our heads. Yeah? Now this is why we warm up our head. We did circles. You can turn to both sides. Up and down. And maybe to the side. If you feel tension, you might want to pull a little bit, stretch it. Now, what I said before, if this area here is tensed, here's what's going to happen. Your shoulders will be blocked. And we will need our shoulders a lot in this body movement course. So this is why we start with releasing the neck, with warming up the neck. That's where all the tension sits. You know, when you massage your boyfriend or girlfriend or friend after work, sometimes when they have a headache, what do they want? They want a neck massage, because this whole area is connected. And what is happening also is that the jaw can tense if the neck is tensed, and that also will, in turn, will make your whole attitude and look become, look more stressful and more. And this will, again, also because you're uncomfortable here, this will psychologically, like you've probably heard about this. I also study psychology, so I'm very interested in that. When people smile, they make themselves smile, even though they're not happy. Like, you can change the physiology of your body and actually become happy. And it's the same way if your jaw is tense, even though you're not actually tense, you can become stressed. And one of the most important elements in Cuban Salsa is relaxation. So start with this neck warm-up. Whenever you dance, avoids injury and makes you more flexible and relaxed. This is why we do it. Yes? Then we go down into the shoulders, and we are still in kind of like a warm-up situation right now. What you want to do is just lift them up straight and let them fall. It's a little bit like you're lifting the shoulder muscles up, like the shoulder bones are just surrounded by this kind of like muscle package. Some people have it more than others. And then you let it drop back into the socket for the same reason. Now, let's get into the shoulders and into the more important stuff. For shoulders, what is happening now is you will circle your shoulders as largely as you possibly can. Now, your end goal with body movement is that your shoulders make really large circles, okay? No triangles, no eggs, circles, round. Yeah, this is really important, that they make large circles without stop, which is more likely to happen if you tense in your neck, and continuously. So this is the movement you want. This is the movement you need for kind of Afro-Cuban movement, and also this is the kind of training. It's like a training ground for all the moves that you'll later do with your shoulders, and also just to calm you down, because sometimes you might be thinking, oh, but I want to dance salsa. Like, why do I need to move your shoulders? Well, everything here is sort of connected. Means the more control you become of, the more control you get of each and every body part, the better everything will work together and look in an interplay. Yeah, this is why you have to learn how to move your shoulders. And in the first course, the foundations course, I'm not sure if you've participated, but if you have, then you also know that in our basic step, there is shoulder movement going on, and this shoulder movement doesn't come from anywhere. It comes from learning to isolate the shoulders, different body parts, and so forth. So lots of what we're going to do today is about isolation, meaning moving a specific part of your body intentionally and exclusively, only that part, because you want to move only that part. And we'll talk about this more later, one of the fun things to watch is when people first start to learn to shimmy, doing the shoulder shake. Most Europeans will look like something like that. Like everything will shake, kind of but the shoulders. Also, you have that when when you have people in like a bar and you tell them you dance salsa, they're like, oh yeah, salsa. Like, this is what people usually end up doing when they try to move only their shoulders, or at least in their heads, that's what they do. They move the shoulders, but they move everything. And it's the same, actually, just as a fun fact, another thing people will show you when you tell them you dance salsa at a bar, they'll be like, oh, salsa. So they think only about the hips. Just as a side note, it's one of my favorite things to watch. And then they tell you like some story about how they learned salsa in Mexico and how somebody told them they're really good at it, and you're like, okay, I see, but you do realize people spend like all their lives practicing that and getting really good, and yes, this is like a little side story I like to tell. Anyway, back to the shoulders, we need the full control, we need isolation skill, yeah? Now, for the shoulders, I'll show you from the back first. Big circles. What's happening here? I know it's difficult to see, but there's a few things that happen. When we start to move out our shoulders, the chest goes up. Yes? So it's not just the shoulders, we make ourselves big in the front. It's important because in the end we're creating a bit of an illusion. We make things look bigger than they actually are. So this is where we start. Yes? Up with the chest. Then the shoulder rotation, and this is actually really important. Different movements have different starting points. You know, like they start on a specific, you can always start whenever you want, technically speaking. But just physiologically, it makes a lot of sense to start specific movements at a specific part, or a specific part of the whole range of motion. So with the shoulders, we usually go like front up. You know, like we don't start up, we don't start the shoulder movement here in the middle up, but we start front up. Because we go out with the chest, and then as we go out with the chest, the shoulder moves back. Yes? Now, the shoulder goes front up, all the way up, as much back as you can, and then down, meaning what's happening in your back is you go up in the front, back with the shoulders, your shoulder blades start to touch each other, and while they're touching each other, they move down to keep the shoulder in the back, move down, and then go to the front again on the bottom, still down, low shoulder blades put together on the bottom, and then we move forward with the shoulders and make a big circle again, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. By the way, I know I sometimes make weird faces when I do these shoulder turns. You might as well find yourself doing that. Don't get scared if you look at yourself in the mirror like it's because the shoulders are kind of like connected, like I said, with the neck muscles, and these in turn are connected with your jaw. So basically what can happen is that you move your shoulder and then like some kind of muscle connection just like pulls down your eyelid up there in your face, and this is what makes your face look weird in the mirror. Don't worry about it. Try to avoid it if you can. I sometimes still see myself doing it. So we have a full circle starting at the front with the chest. It helps a little bit if you have like a slight forward lean. This is like a practice position to do that. Okay, slide forward lean, up and around and up in the front and all the way back. As big as possible. Now, when you practice this for the first time, what will happen typically is one of these few things. Either it will just be here in the front, you know, because, or it will be all the way in the back, or it will look something like this. It will look kind of like robotic because you can't really do the circle yet and you get stuck in different parts of the way. So don't worry about that too much. Keep in mind that this is a bit of a new movement for your body, and try to see the big picture. You know, a big picture means the practice picture. Practice picture means you have to repeat it many times in order for it to become good. Yeah? Big circles then also means that don't worry too much about how exactly you look in the mirror. Try to extend the range of motion of your upper body as much as possible over time, which means stretch it in all directions. Your shoulders are pretty limited in their movement if you're just a normal person in your day-to-day life with your office job, you know, or just being like a student. Like, when do you ever need to roll your shoulders while you're like sitting on your computer? When do you roll your shoulders while you're cooking? When do you shake your shoulders while you're riding your bike? Never. So this is new movement. It's not unnatural in that sense. Like, it's nothing you force your body into. It's nothing that's unhealthy for your body, but it's unnatural in the sense that you're not using it. Yeah. If you don't use it or lose it. That's like a saying from evolutionary psychology. Everything that is not used in terms of movement, psychological ability, disappears. Yeah. So for this movement, make it big in the front, and then also for practice you can easily like lean back a little bit, as if you're doing almost, you know, like a front wave, and as if you're going up in the front and then relaxing and releasing to the back. So don't just stand really stiff, but use your whole body. Yeah? And make it as big as possible. Because in the end, you can make it smaller again and more controlled. But for practice, start with big movement. Focus on big, huge range of motions. Secondly, focus on round. You know, this is one of the things that might happen in the beginning. And then you might start shaking and fall down. But nothing to worry about, it will come after time. Focus on round and big. Focus on continuous movement. So on a beat, da, 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 da. And focus on the whole body's going with it. Up with the chest as we lift the shoulders up and front. Up and front and back and release. Yeah. Okay, now, other way. Actually, before we go the other way, your arms. What will happen in the beginning is that you will have a big issue detaching your arms from the shoulders. And I mean in terms of movement. Don't worry, you won't have to remove your arms for this exercise. So what will happen is something like this. You know, everything it's all tense and it gets stuck together. And then what we want to have in the end is the arms just hang there. And they go wherever they want to go. Yeah? They just loose. So try to keep, as an exercise, to keep the arms hanging there loosely. Yeah? Try to keep them hanging. Now, further rolling. Oh, about the counting. I already did it with the counting before, but our beat when doing the shoulders backwards is da, 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 da. So the movement starts here, kind of on the beat. Ah, da, da, da. We'll do it with music in a second, but first we'll do the other way around. To the front. It's the same thing, but reverse. What does that mean? It means that the shoulders start going back first, because when we start, the shoulders start in the front. For the back rolling shoulders, the shoulders start in the front and up. And for the front rolling shoulders, the shoulders start in the back, in the back, in the back, in the back. And you see, also here, when my shoulders are starting to roll to the front, like I lift my chest out a little bit. So try to use your chest whenever you can. It makes the whole thing bigger. Arms still loose. And all the way to the back. You start by clinching your shoulder blades together, low in the back. Then you keep them together, move them up, and let them fall forward. This is the movement to the back. Okay, you probably noticed that I'm not wearing a shirt anymore. That is on purpose. I just realized I'm gonna give you the gift of my upper body for learning purposes, because it's very helpful to see what is happening without somebody wearing a shirt on, because these are like very small movements, and I actually do it for I'm undressing for the internet, for your sake. So one more time. First to the back, and then to the front, the rolling, and then we'll do it with music. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can come from the back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, you saw that it's the whole body that's moving, and the arms just hang there loosely. That's very important. Also important, the counting. We did it to a rumba song, and we did it to a salsa song. You can do it on a single count, which is, if you have a salsa beat, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You can do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.